It's Lowbacks.com. Yeah.
I want to show you guys my 10 favorite stretches and mobility drills. They're what I'm going to be using over these next couple weeks to try to improve my body's ability to move so I can do things like capoeira and decrease my pain. You guys ready? Let's go. All right, so the first move I'm going to do is a downward dog. Number one, downward dog. So I'm going to start out by reaching towards my feet as low as I can go, slightly bending my knees to get my hands to the floor, walk my hands out, find a good balanced position, and then try to stretch my hamstrings and calves right here. So this is a great position to put the body in to help open up the hips, shoulders, and ankles. It's a great position. So take a couple deep breaths here. And then begin to move down into the up dog or cobra position. So I want to lower my chest to the floor, keep my pelvis and hips on the floor, and press up right here. This is number two, is cobra. Number three is taking my body out into the side. I'm trying to reach this leg out to the side right here. So I'm on my knee here. This is number three. It says side kick with a lift. Side kick stretch with a lift. So out to the side. I'm stretching here as I rock back and forth. And then what I want to try to do is lift this leg up and bring it back down. So big stretch here. I feel a stretch right here in my inner thigh. And then what I want to do next is lift my leg off the floor. All right? So we'll do like 5 reps here. So kind of sink back, feel that stretch, slightly push this leg away from the body here. Feeling that stretch in that inner thigh right there. Nice and deep stretch there. And then we'll lean forward, lift up onto that knee, and then lift this leg up off the floor. Holding it there for a second. Feel that burn. That's 1. If I want to feel it more, I can kind of push my foot out that way and try to push my toes into the floor. I feel a big stretch come down right in here as well as in here. And that's where you want to feel those big stretches, and then you want to lean forward and lift. Hold that position, breathe, and then come back down. The next one I want to work into is the kneeling runner stretch. So kneeling from this kneeling position here, I can do a lot of stuff and I love it. So from here, I'm going to bring my foot up to this runner stretch position here. All right, and in this runner stretch position, I can really loosen up those hips by kind of rocking around in a circle and kind of just letting my body open up gently. Now, you don't want to force any of these stretches. You want to gently ease into them. Let your body start to accept that position and just move it around. One thing I like to do to help me improve my mobility here is I like to try to lift my foot right up off the floor, hold it there for a second, and see if I can hold it right there. Bring it out to the side, bring it around, bring it back up, bring it around, and put it down back into that stretch. So that's a hip cars into this kneeling runner stretch. I like to use the hip cars, which is controlled articular rotation at the hip right here. I like to use that hip car motion to try to help improve my mobility here as I'm going. Kind of get a good stretch on this side, and you're free to play here. Try to push this knee out to the side. The back knee is down. If you want to lift it up, you can. To me, that makes it a little bit harder to focus on the tightness in this hamstring here. So I like to keep the back knee down here. Plus, it makes it a lot easier for me to transition right into that hip car so I can lift that foot up, bring it around, hold it up there, bring it back, and put it back down and dive right back into that stretch. Now, this is a very effective stretch, especially when you add that hip car motion. It really helps improve your dynamic mobility in the hip almost instantaneously. So that's why I love it, all right? And okay, so done with those two. The next one I want to get into is the kneeling reach back, kneeling kind of bow. So we'll go back and reach and lift. Deep breath here. This is number 5. And we can switch sides here, just pressing the hips forward and arching the back. This helps open up the front side of the body for things like back bend, anything that involves a dynamic, extension of the trunk and core. And capoeira demands a lot of that. Plus, just life in general. We sit at a desk all day. This is a great one to help improve, the negative side effects of sitting at a desk. So this is number 5. I love that one. I could do 100 of those. I usually do about 10 reps of those total. And then I want to come back down into some wide sit stretch. Now, this is one that I've been taught by some of my most influential martial art instructors. They have taught me that this is one of the best stretches you could do when you're throwing kicks and stuff like that. So for me, this is not only a great stretch for throwing kicks, but also it addresses my general hip tightness very well. So what I want to do is try to reach my hands forward and just try to kind of grab at the floor as best I can and just breathe right here. And we could bounce from one foot to the middle, to the other foot, to the middle. And I kind of just like to explore this range of motion here. You can throw in a bend, cross this way, and then throw it on this side, cross this way, bend, try to reach. Best you can. If you can only reach your ankle, that's all right. Just try to keep trying to stretch it open. This position really starts to get easier and easier the longer you sit here. So sitting here for a little while sometimes really helps things open up. So I'm going to go butterfly here. Kind of pulse my legs up and down initially just to kind of get them to loosen up. And then what I'm going to do is take a deep breath in, breathe out, and look at the ceiling and press my knees to the floor. So watch me here. Deep breath in, breathe out. Good, all right. Again, one more time. Deep breath in, breathe out, press the knees down. Looking up at the ceiling. All right, now from here, one of the things I like to do is add in my neck cars. So my neck cars I like to do from this position. I feel like it's actually really, really helpful for some reason in this position. And I think it might be because I'm pulling on my feet. So I actually am pulling my shoulders down and back. Then from here, I can roll my neck from side to side. So I'm rolling my neck this way and then the other way. So I can switch at the top, or I can switch once I've come back down to the bottom. But I like to go around with my neck at least 10 times. And I find by sitting in this butterfly position and rolling my neck, it really helps me open my wide sit stretch. We're going to drop into the pretzel roll here, which is one of my other favorite mobility drills. Now this one is very challenging for me and it calls out all of my hip stuff right away. So sitting with my knees at about 90-90, I want to press my knees into the floor here. I'm going to try to get this knee into the floor and keep this knee pressed into the floor here so I can work on it. Try to reach and open. I can play with different motions here. I can also play with leaning forward to dig into the stretch here in my piriformis and lifting, creating kind of a Cars effect in this hip right here to get this to open up. And this is really helpful right here when we talk about going into that wide sit. It feels so much easier for me to get back into that wide sit after I do this butterfly and then this hip cars. So I can play with these stretches here, just trying to activate, pull that foot up off the floor so you get that rotation in the hip. And then reach up, try to press that knee into the floor. There's so many different things you can do from these positions. They're so simple, but they're so effective. So leaning back, getting this to stretch really big, then trying to lift this foot up, get that pinch right here in the hip. Really good, all right? Then we can go back into this wide sit position, and oh my God, it feels so much easier. You guys can probably see how much lower I'm already able to get just by adding those other 2 stretches in. So the trick about a stretching program and doing the right type of stretches is that you should feel a new ability within minutes. It shouldn't take long for these stretches to work for you to feel your body open up.